I'm going to take a chance on this one and say I think it's actually reasonable to believe that this is the end of Justin Trudeau. There is a petition circulating to actually remove Justin Trudeau from office, and it's not a small petition either. It's getting some more steam, and I want to add more fuel to the fire by making a video about this. So sit back, relax, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet already, because this is going to be an eye-opener, and it's a big positive for anyone who's not satisfied with our current political sphere or spectrum here in Canada. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I want to show everybody these stickers that I have of Justin Trudeau gone missing. Have you seen me, Justin Trudeau, on a milk carton? The link for that is available down in the description or the pinned comment below. Justin Trudeau did not appear in the House of Commons today, so technically he is missing. So the link for that, again, is down in the description or the pinned comment below. Now, before we take a look at the petition, let's take a look at a video of Canadians just not being able to pay their mortgages, which is why Canadians are pissed off with our current government. The cost of living is so expensive, and everybody, you can be the most radical, purple-haired, whatever liberal, right? And it's all about feelings. At the end of the day, he, she, they, them, they, them, binary, whatever you want to be referred to as, you have to pay for stuff. You have to go to the store or use your phone and pay for things with money that you've earned. And well, that's just becoming more and more difficult to do in Canada. So let's take a look at this video here, and it'll give us a bit of an understanding as to why Canadians are pissed off.
There are questions tonight about how effective new federal mortgage guidelines will be at keeping Canadians in their homes. Ottawa unveiled it last week. JP Tasker looks at what they are and whether they'll help in the face of high interest rates.
Bikram Deep Singh has a mortgage renewal looming on his Vancouver area townhome.
Oof, New Westminster.
Now, I'm looking at the renewal rates somewhere between 6 and 6.5%. So that's going to be like bringing my payments 30 to 40% up. So that's going to be a significant chunk of money that I'll be spending every month.
Singh was already just trying to keep his head above water.
I'm the sole income earner in my family, so that definitely puts some stress.
It
About
sure
2.2
does.
million mortgages are up for renewal in the next 2 years, according to federal data. Those households will be paying a lot more with record low rates in the rearview mirror. Kevin Larkin doesn't think he can keep his Surrey, BC home on a teacher's salary.
You know, I've just been running the numbers, and I don't see how I'm going to be able to renew and afford this.
Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland says Ottawa is doing what it can to avoid a spike in foreclosures.
I want Canadians to get through this. I want Canadians to be able to afford their mortgages and keep their homes.
That's where the government's new mortgage charter comes in. A series of guidelines for banks, including allowing temporary extensions of amortization periods so people can take longer to pay, and exempting homeowners from a stress test when switching lenders at renewal.
Most banks were doing many of these things.
This real estate watcher says the charter won't change much. People are already offloading properties they can't afford, and it could get worse.
If rates stay in the sixes for another 12 months, we're going to have potentially and very likely some downward pressure on prices. I mean, something's going to break.
The good news is inflation seems to have stabilized. The bad news is
No, it
rates
hasn't.
might not go down as fast as they went up. The governor of the Bank of Canada has warned people should prepare to live with higher rates for longer. JP Tasker.
That's the thing. They're trying to say that inflation has stabilized, but you go to the grocery store, you go pay for anything, and it's just inflation has not stabilized at just surface level. Anyone can figure that one out. Now, here's the issue, is we're now going into times where the old way of living, traditional lifestyles just aren't working, where the men work and pay for everything and the women raise families. And you're having this massive clash of old traditional cultures and new way of living with everything being remote. And it's very confusing because the cost of living is so unaffordable that there are several dual income households that can't keep up with either rent, mortgages, food payments, car payments, all of those things. And so we're in very, very scary times. Now, let's shift out of that doom and gloom and get into something a little bit more positive, which is a actual House of Commons petition E-4701 democratic process. And there is lots and lots of signatures. If you want to be a part of this, you can find the link or just go on Google and type in E-4701. I'll try and remember to link it down in the description. And you can see there are almost 43,000 signatures. And this is we the citizens have lost confidence in Justin Trudeau and the Liberal NDP coalition. We call on the House for a vote of no confidence. We ask for an election 45 days after the vote, if won. The current government elected is not acting in the best interest of all citizens. The policies of this government aren't aligning with the crisis Canada is facing. Housing costs, infringement of civil liberties, highest inflation in history, unbalanced immigration policies, taxation to the point of poverty, weakening of our economy by importing natural resources that Canada already has underutilizes, and based on the past 8 years of the Prime Minister, Canadians do not have confidence in this Prime Minister. After 5 ethics investigations and Canada's reputation being tarnished on a global scale under his leadership, to the extent that Canada is being discluded from participating in statements regarding important geopolitical events. This is insane. This isn't just like a poll or a petition that anybody can make. This is an actual federally elected Conservative member of Parliament who is issuing this petition. And when you look at the poll numbers, I mean, there is every reason to believe that Canada has lost complete faith. They've actually only have a 1% faith in Justin Trudeau, and the odds now for a Conservative majority government are as high as 96%. It would take Pierre Poilievre a dozen blackface appearances and just complete insane amount of backlash, and then it might balance out a little bit. But even then, everybody, whether you like Conservatives or whether you don't, it doesn't matter, because you're going to come to vote and you're going to be looking at your bank account, you're going to be looking at your wallet, and you're going to say, shit, the Liberals really don't have a grasp on finances. And that's insane for an entire country to come together and say, it is so bad financially here and affordability wise that we have to, no matter what, at all costs, we have to get rid of the current elected government. This is probably one of the worst times in Canadian history, and it's going to get worse. So buckle up, folks, and I hope that this is encouragement for you guys to go and sign that petition. Now let's take a look at a clip from today's House of Commons that, after being challenged by the Conservatives, the Liberal House leader, Karina Gould, instructs their agriculture minister to sit down instead of answering the Conservatives' questions. The House then erupts. Let's take a look at this.
But the Prime Minister, as Environment Minister, has promised if this bill passes, he will resign. So is that why the Environment Minister is bullying senators in the Senate to block 234? Because he wants to save his job rather than ensure Canadians can afford to feed themselves?
Wow. Sit down, she's saying. Sit down, don't answer him.
For the environment.
I think he had to get back up and answer the question. And then he mutes it and abuses his power, of course. And so corruption is running really high these days on the Liberal side of things. And for those who know, the House Speaker did get replaced after the last one. Invited a Nazi into Parliament, and so they replaced a Liberal House Speaker with, you guessed it, another Liberal House Speaker. Let's take a look at this video from Pierre Poilievre that says what Trudeau Liberals think.
homeownership isn't in the cards for an increasing number of Canadians.
Over a third of Canadians are regretting the mortgages that they are currently in.
Rent prices in Canada hit a new high for the 6th straight month. Data from rentals.ca and Urban Nation shows the average asking price for a rental unit reached $2,178 in October.
An average of 20 Canadians are dying each day from opioid poisonings.
Or hydromorphone, which is one of the drugs the government has encouraged doctors to prescribe as safe supply.
It's estimated up to 300,000 Canadians have experienced homelessness over the past year.
This is just one of 35 encampments within the Halifax region. More than 1,000 people are without a home.
More Canadians than ever are reportedly reaching out to food banks to feed their families.
Food on the table continues to climb. It's clear more and more families are turning to food banks.
Toronto has seen a 51% increase in food bank visits, the highest ever. More than 2.5 million visits so far this year, and that number is expected to exceed 3 million visits by the end of 2023.
This place is broken.
This place is broken. There you go. I mean, the Liberals are always going to deny that what they're doing is causing detrimental harm to Canadians, and how, I mean, if they admitted it, it would be almost political suicide. And so it's crazy times, because the people running the show are the ones that are making the show a shit show. And I mean, that's why we got to sign that petition, folks. Got another video here about the Trudeau Liberals are so out of touch with a CTV appearance here.
Take from that you would characterize, for example, this year's deficit at $40 billion, or the next 2 years, which are about $10 to $12 billion higher than anticipated at budget, as modest? And can you understand how Canadians might greet that with some skepticism, given your government's track record hasn't always been restrained? And I'll provide you with a few examples and offer you the opportunity to respond. $50 million on an app, ArriveCan, that never worked. The Federal Public Services employment growth rate is 3 times greater than the population growth rate. Spending on contracting has increased by more than a third since just 2017.
Yeah, truly thank you for the question, because I believe from all the conversations I have across the country that Canadians understand now is a time we need to invest. I find people are particularly focused on investments in housing. I find certainly parents and grandparents very focused on childcare. I think,
but that's different than the examples I laid out with respect.
I'm gonna get to those. I promise. People are really aware that we need to invest in the industrial transformation of our country, and I think people really want to know that we're doing it in a fiscally responsible way. I think that's kind of the base setting of Canadians, and I agree with that. And so, and I think it can be hard for people to judge, you know, is it fiscally responsible or isn't it? We're here in Ottawa. I think the House of Commons is behind us. There are lots of partisan talking points flying around. And so what I would say, you know, to you, but even more to people listening to us and watching us, I get that you don't want me to grade my own homework. And I get that hearing me say government is fiscally responsible, you want some proof points. So I'll give you 2 quick proof points. The first one is Canada's debt and Canada's deficit right now, today, are the lowest in the G7. That is significant. Second thing, and this speaks to, I don't believe we should grade our own homework. I don't expect you to want us to grade our own homework. There is someone out there whose job it is to give us a grade. And that is quite literally the ratings agencies. And the grade that the ratings agencies are giving Canada right now, today, is the highest grade possible, a AAA credit rating. And
but
that
just
is
because I have a good credit rating from my bank, does that mean that I should increase the size of, you know, the staff that I have at my workplace?
Chrystia Freeland's face just looks like she's stuck in a perpetual state of smelling farts.
That pace perhaps being too fast, in that the cuts that you're now looking to make over the next 5 years are all focused on that.
The rating that the agencies give us is based on where we are today, and it's based on what they think is sustainable going forward. So they're looking at 2 things. They're looking at how strong is the economy and is it growing? So they understand you need to make investments to be sure you have growth. And what they also think about is the rate of investments in line with the expected rate of growth, with the return on those investments. That's what they're expecting of us. I think broadly that's what Canadians expect of us, and that is what we are absolutely committed to delivering.
And there you go. It just seems like they are so out of touch and so delusional that we don't know how things will get back on track, which is why Canadians are rushing to go and sign that petition. I'd like to encourage you to do the same thing. And that's where we're going to end today's video, folks. I'd love to know if you have any questions or comments or concerns about any of the topics that were covered. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget that you can get your Have You Seen Me Trudeau on a milk carton sticker down in the description or the pinned comment below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video. If you want to support the channel financially, you can do so by checking out the merch shop linked right up there. Or if you want to do something for free, which is also absolutely acceptable and highly encouraged, you can subscribe right there. If you want to continue watching videos like this, you can do so by clicking or tapping right there to watch the next upcoming video. And if you want to watch a little bit of different content, but also Canadian stuff, you can do so by clicking right up there. That's my second channel, House of Canada, also known as the House of Commons Highlights. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.